The history of the trailer park starts probably where you would assume it would, with the invention of the automobile. Now all of a sudden people were fascinated by the open road and traveling by car. However, there was no place for them to stay overnight. Today we have motels all along our interstates, but back then there were none. Hotels were only found in the downtown area and usually by the train, as that was how most people traveled from place to place. So if you were on a road trip, there was literally no place to stay. So people started sleeping in tents they would set up next to their automobiles. As you can imagine, the people who owned cars back then had money, and sleeping in a tent was not exactly the lap of luxury. And thus, this is how the trailer was born. But these trailers were built for the rich. They were over the top and included high-end trimmings and things like chandeliers. On top of that, trailers were given names, just as yachts are today, and even had custom china patterns tied to the name of the trailer. So now you have all of these well-off to-do folks exploring the open road with clearly a lot of disposable income. And so towns begin to take notice of this and were looking for a way to capitalize on the opportunity of additional income coming to their town through these wealthy road travelers. And yes, you guessed it, this is actually how the trailer park was born. Towns started building free places to park these trailers, and it was a very upscale concept back then. Many notable celebrities owned trailers, most of Hollywood royalty, and then families like the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilt, the Astors, they all had trailers. And when they were on the road, they lived in these trailer parks these towns had built. But then came the Great Depression. In 1929, the stock market crashed. People lost their homes, their jobs, and people needed somewhere affordable to live. So at that time, some started using these trailers meant only for a few nights as full-time homes. Then World War II happened, and the US government needed massive amounts of base housing for all of these newly recruited servicemen. So they went around the United States and bought up every single trailer they could find and moved them onto military bases across the US. But then the government ran into a problem. When the servicemen left the military, they were promised free college through the GI Bill. But again, all these past service members needed a place to live, and there was not enough current dorm space for the onslaught of all these new college students. So the military took all the 500,000 trailers they owned at that time and moved them to college campuses across America. This is why big colleges in the US used to have existing mobile home parks nearby, and some still do. These servicemen had gone from living in trailers when they were enlisted in the Army, then they lived in these trailers in college, and then as they graduated, they continued to live in these trailers. And that is why in the 1950s, if you lived in a trailer park, you had a higher income and a higher education status than those who did not. But then all these upscale adults got married, had kids, and decided to do what? Move to the suburbs. They wanted more space. All the way through the 50s and even up into the 60s, trailer parks were still seen as glamorous, but they very quickly went from being upscale to affordable housing. Although even today, some mobile home parks seem really fancy, and you see this most often with 55+ communities. Sometimes they have a clubhouse and pools and really beautiful landscaping and many other amenities. In fact, there are mobile home parks that were built by Stanley Marcus, Frank Lloyd Wright, and Raymond Leary. But what about RVs? Well, back then you didn't say RVs, they were just all called trailers. But that forever changed in the 1950s when the first 10-wide was built. That forever changed the industry, and thus you had the separation between RVs, and then they started being called mobile homes instead of trailers. And during that time was like the golden era. anyone could build a mobile home. There was no restrictions, and you saw lots of different designs. But then in the 1976, the federal government declared that all mobile homes had to be built under the inspection of HUD. This is the main reason why we now call them manufactured homes instead of mobile homes, but it also has to do with the fact they're really no longer mobile. Over the past 10 years, there has been a huge boom in van life, full-time RV living, and of course the rise of the tiny house movement. It's really truly fascinating to see how mobile living has changed over the years. Now let's jump into episode number 2 of Cider River and see what I was able to get accomplished alongside this lovely, adorable trailer park. Welcome back to Cider River. Today we are going to focus on education, expanding our little core town center here just slightly before we move on to our trailer park build. So I've added the elementary school, the high school, we've got the historical library, the playground and dog park. Then I did a mix of low density and high density residential buildings along with just a few more commercial buildings and some detailing just to start to blend the area out into what will be the rural area of our town. I just want to say I am completely blown away by your feedback about this project of mine, and I'm so excited that so many of you are still excited about watching Cities Skylines One content and that you're with me on this build, and or that you've expressed how much you also like fall, which makes me so happy. So I'm glad that you're with me for whatever reason you are, and I'm so excited for Cider River to become this long-term project and for us to build all these different little towns along the river. And I'm gonna want your help and feedback on what the inspiration will be for each town. So this one, I'm just kind of going where my imagination takes me with what I want to create. Episode 3 is also going to be something really special that I've been working on, but then after that we'll start doing some polls on the channel because I would love your feedback to get some inspiration of what type of little towns we could theme out along the riverbanks. The next thing I did was grab the dirt roads and just get a basic layout done. I wanted to figure out how I wanted the trailer park to be situated at the edge of our town. And then just these curvy roads here, I used that to kind of make a line in between where I kind of want the density to start shifting into this rural area. So then what I did is I upgraded these roads just to kind of make that marker for myself so that as we start to blend these two areas together, we kind of know where things will start and end so far as like the density. The other thing I wanted to do was create just a little bit of like a miniature main street here and just bring in a few things like the gas station. I want a little fire station, the 1x1 police station, just a few little buildings here. I think this would be so convenient next to our large trailer park and just a little node of something at the very edge of our map. And I just love building cute little tiny spaces like this. It makes me so happy, and I think it turned out super cute. Then I just went wild with the detailing here. We're at the very edge of our map. We basically have a forest behind us, so I just wanted this to feel so lush and dense and just lots of color, and I had so much fun filling in this area. I just went for it. Once the trailer park was fully detailed, which I hope you guys like, I love doing that. That was so much fun, detailing every little trailer. I just had a blast doing that. But then I decided to bring a fence around the outside, just felt like the finishing touch the park needed. The next thing I wanted to do is what I mentioned in episode 1 was finally tying in this recreational trail, hiking trail that we put at the edge of our fog map. Remember, I wanted to tie this into the neighborhood. So I've got a little path coming into the little mini town street we just did, and then officially making this a park area, bring in some park assets, lots more landscaping. Again, just making it feel super dense and lush and just a place that you would really want to go for a hike. Now, it may seem weird to have this park gate coming out of our trailer park, but I could definitely see a park like this that is situated so close to nature, kind of having it as one of the amenities of the park is that you could walk right into the park. So I think it's a really nice touch, and I could definitely see it happening. I decided to name our park the Rivers End Park because this first little town that we're creating, I named it the River's Edge. By the way, a lot of you gave some really great name suggestions, and we're gonna need them because we're gonna have lots of little towns, so I've saved them on a little note so that we can make sure that we use all of your name suggestions. So keep them coming. I love them, especially like the fall themed ones are great. I'm so excited about those. But yeah, again, I just went hog wild with the landscaping here and just really wanted to help create the barrier between this lovely hiking forest trails and the highway. And I think I was able to accomplish that. The last thing I wanted to do was just get a little feel for what it's going to be like to kind of taper off in density from the town to this area out here. I'm not sure if all these houses I put in will stay or not. I just kind of was trying to get the vibe for it to see how it would feel, but I'm thinking as we're coming out to the trailer park, we will taper down in density quite a lot from our original town area. So I'm excited next episode to also spend some time blending the two. But I've also got something else really special planned that I'm so excited about. I've really felt so inspired by this new series, and I have a lot of ideas that I've been wanting to do that I just haven't. And so thanks for giving me the space to do that. I just want to say how much I have thoroughly enjoyed starting this series. I know I've said that, but I'm really excited about it. I'm glad that you guys like it. I hope that you love the trailer park. I think it is adorable, and I'm so happy I was able to find these lovely trailers on the workshop. Also, I have made a mods and asset list for this project. You can find it linked in the description below, and it also includes a lot of Larry's Skylines assets as well. And Larry has made a brand new asset that is going to be perfect to use for next week's special project, and it just was so serendipitous that he made a new item for me, which I am so excited about. Thank you all for being here. I want to give a special shout out to my members, Josh, Paige of Aquarius, and Flybox. I appreciate your support so much. And if you didn't know, I do have a channel membership here, and every single Saturday in the Discord there is a private live stream where you can just come hang and chat with me, and we're building another city in there. It's completely vanilla. It's been a lot of fun, so feel free to join us. And there's also the Discord, which you can join for free and come hang out with us there as well. I hope you all have a joyful day, and I'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe.